Recently, I picked up a 12-year-old boy from youth detention. He wanted to play for me 2 songs, one dedicated to his mother, who was in prison, and one that he wanted played at his funeral. For a minute, I want you to imagine that you're 12. You're addicted to ice, you've been locked up, you're out of school, no job, and your only real clear goal in life is planning out your funeral song. I struggle, but I emerge. It's a quote that came to me in epiphany when I was trying to figure out what to name this little dream of mine. A dream I had back when I was 13, sitting on a set of stairs at a house I was couch surfing at. A dream I had to create something for broken kids, a place we could employ the unemployable, a program that never ends and never gives up, a place to be when everything was chaos, home. At Emerge, we meet some of the most disadvantaged kids in our community, exactly where they are in life, no matter where they've been, without judgment. We stand beside them while they figure out who they are and where they want to be. We're a whole lot more than a youth organisation and a cafe. We're a family. Did you know in Toowoomba we have at least 130 kids on any given night who don't have a safe place to live? We shamefully boast the highest youth incarceration rate in the state and the highest youth unemployment in the country. When I asked our local youth justice centre in Toowoomba, how long does it take for kids to reoffend when they're released from detention? They told me it was 8 days. When I started practicing my pitch to the kids, they said, nah, it's more like 2. That means that when we lock kids up, we are actively creating a sense of belonging in a jail cell, a dependency on an expensive and unhealthy Band-Aid solution. We, as a community, tell our kids, you're too fucking hard, you're not good enough, and I'm going to put you over there in a jail cell until you figure out a decent funeral song. So what is it about our program that our kids love? Well, we create a sense of belonging before anything else. Kids in Toowoomba get to know our family style pretty quick. They know that Auntie Nikki's going to give them a great big bear hug if they come to work and they've had no sleep the night before. They know when Auntie Sherry's coming round to our Emerge house, they better get in and clean up, get that rubbish out. She's going to be checking the sheets. And they know when then they've stuffed up, landed themselves in the watch house, too much on the drugs and the world has just gone too crazy, they can ring me, Jen, 24/7, and I'll stand beside them. I won't give up. After all, that's what a family does. On Monday nights, you'll find our crew out on a touch footy field, playing touch footy with tradies who volunteered their times, looking out for kids that they can do work experience with. Tuesdays and Thursdays, boxing and fitness with an ex-Aussie champ, my husband and my 8th child. Wednesdays, they're out on the field with youth workers, sourcing bait, going fishing, learning how to measure a fish, how are we going to eat it, who are we going to share it with. Man, what an education. Weekends are for fires and pork and gravy rolls, a chance to be silly and serious if we need to. Most of the kids we meet, they've never seen a loving family home. So we provide that too if we need to at House 360, or the Emerge House as the kids like to call it, usually when they want to use the dryer or they get wind there's a roast pork happening. I tell you, House 360, it hosts 7 kids at any one time. It's completely unfunded though by the government. It's a place for kids who get kicked out when they're given up on, when they need somewhere in a hurry. It's a place to feel safe. They learn to pay rent. I do have to chase them a little bit. They learn to clean up most of the time. They learn to get along with other people, and most importantly, they get their life on track. You want to know where the real magic happens though? It's in our social enterprise cafe, now cleverly placed right beside our courthouse and police station, a third option when it comes to locking kids up. Now, I'm often told that I'm the Oprah Winfrey of giving out jobs to kids who need a hand in Toowoomba. You get a job, and you get a job, and you get a job, and you stole my material before. But you know what? I just look at these crazy, amazing kids and I just see all of their potential. I know that if there's just one person who's going to stand up for them and beside them, wrap around support and love and care, anything is possible. Now, I've invited one of our young men here who's experienced this firsthand, Ethan, or Red as we like to call him, and he's been busting at the seams for weeks to talk to you guys.
Picture this. It's a cold, rainy day. You're wet, freezing and hungry. You're living on top of a rooftop inside of a little tent with a friend who you share the same bed with. But not only that, I was having the time of my life. There was no rules, there was no boundaries, no parents to tell me no. But although problems are followed with problems, so I always struggled with addiction, and it was always on top of me. But I was happy with where I was at and what I was doing, but I always held little hope in what I had. But that was far from what the case was. Emerge Cafe, which was set up down at Station Street at the time, is where I met Jen. She gave us something to eat, something to drink, and after a long chat, it wasn't long before I was placed into crisis care. But that's not where the contact and support stopped. Jen said she had so much more to offer. She'd offered almost every kid that came in a job. No questions asked, no judgment. It was a big opportunity for us kids. We didn't know it yet, but this was a major foot in the door. And even after some time, I even landed myself into the house operated by her. It was a house like your own, but with only a few extras. But no matter how far forward I moved in life, addiction always followed me through the years and my shadows. It was always my biggest burden. Almost every kid thought we can pull the wool over Jen's eyes, including myself. But that was far from the case. She knew when something wasn't right. She'd spoken to every kid that came in, so when something was off, she knew when it was. Forward to this day, Emerge has become a major part of my family and a major part of my teen life growing up. Without Emerge, I wouldn't have been able to meet some really cool kids who've waved the same boat, but not only that, some really good youth workers who stayed in my corner and never judged when times got rough.
Yeah. I believe that all it takes is one caring adult to completely turn things around for a young person. There's more kids like Ethan all around our country, plenty more in my community, and I bet they're here in yours too. Mr. 12 figuring out his funeral song, 1 in 5 who don't have a job or go to school, 1 in 4 who are suffering from mental health issues, and 28,000 across our country who don't have somewhere safe to sleep tonight. Each and every one has the potential to be something amazing. They just need people like me and like you to get them there. One caring adult showing up no matter what. Now, Ethan and I have been doing a little bit of maths about what it costs to lock a kid up in Queensland. Ethan, this boy's a bloody maths whiz, I tell you.
Did you know it cost the Queensland State $1,500 per day per child to be kept into a juvenile detention system?
Whoa. At Emerge, it cost us $109.56 per day per kid in an apples by apples scenario. That's accommodation, youth workers on the ground, and all the essentials you need to start to get your life on track.
So if we raise $1,500 tonight, that means we can help 2 weeks straight intensively.
Absolutely. $1,500 pledged tonight helps us help one young person start to get settled in our Emerge house, working on some big hopes and dreams.
So if we raise $20,000 tonight, what does this mean for the kids down at Emerge?
$20,000 for the kids down at Emerge backs one kid at a time, one big dream at a time for 6 months down at Emerge, keeping them out of jail, working on their hopes and dreams. Thank you.
And the sunlight hurts my eye.